me on stages, I be the one tapping the fan. Nobody rap like me over catastrophe. Don't know your majesty, homie, to copy these hoes on the block for tops. Nigga, I'm hot like the club.
Yo. Yo, alright. Suspending the body. Motherfucker! Nigga, flight boss in this motherfucker. We gonna get this shit in. We gonna talk about what we talking about today. When we talk about flight boss. Stole little power man talking to flight boss. What we talk about, flight boss? Motivation. We gonna talk about motivation. The origins of motivation, the metaphysics behind motivation. I don't even know if this you know what? I'm about to do this now. You know the mind of an Antares moon. That series is gonna be based upon. I'm gonna go ahead and deficiate that right now. That's gonna go ahead and put out the metaphysic aspects of shit. When we combine left brain science with right brain science, and I'm always right, so I just need to let the left catch up. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna kick that for the moon and Antares. So I'm gonna call this another moon and Antares, and we're gonna call this motivation. Motivation. What is motivation? What is motivation? Motivation is motive. You know what I'm saying? So be careful what your motives are, because the key thing, if you get in trouble, the key thing you do in court, right? The key thing in court is motive. If a police officer or the prosecutor or whatever like that, the judge just do the sentencing. He don't actually get into the analysis of the case. Now the prosecutor and the DA, whatever's involved, their main objective is motive. And if they can't find a motive behind what you done, there's not a case. And you know what I'm saying, 9 times out of the motive, that's what basically motivation is. So you can tie that down to anything. You got automobiles, mobile homes, all these are motives for something. And a person had to have the right motivation behind it and the right motive behind it in order for it to work. Like the first person who who had the motive of traveling came up with the motivation of creating the first car, and his motives was in the right place, which led the car industry to where it's at today. Everybody, like a car is common now. So where I'm from, there's no such thing as automobiles. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Just like the people who had the motive to create the phones, they created great motivation behind it, and their motives was in good places, but it was in bad places also, because you see I'm being very distracted right now. So you know what I'm saying? Like, pardon me, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into motivation. Motivation is motives. Make sure your motives is in the right area, because there's no direction where I'm from. So when I bring that down to 3D physical terms, it's like motivation turns into a direction. And whatever you put in your motives, that's the direction your motivation is going. Now, there's entities behind motivation. Like literally, you can have the motivation to rise to the top of an industry, business mogul, whatever you are, you can have the motivation to rise to the top. But if your motive's not in the right place, then everything is a 360 in the universe, and it's gonna come back around. Your motives is gonna come back around and hit you in the face. Now, whether the motives was good or bad, that's what's gonna hit you in your face. That's like a person who develops a motivation to go get their kids something for Christmas. Now, the motive is going to be the direction. Now, if they don't have a job, their motive might be to rob somebody. If they do have a job, their motive might be to get extra hours. Now, both of these are paradigms and programs that I don't agree to the terms and conditions of, but we just going to do this for sake of argument. Now, you know what I'm saying? The person who's going to rob, his motives is in the wrong direction. Now, the person who want to get more hours, his motives is in the right direction. Now, they both have the same equally motivation, but like we said, what's motivation? Motive. So the person who's going to rob, his motive going to do a 360 turn, and the person who's going to get extra hours, his motive is going to do a 360 turn. Now, the person who's robbing, he might be successful at it, and then it might come back around in a 360 when he might get robbed, or he might not be successful and he might end up being hurt in the situation, or he might end up going to jail. So that's when the motive is in the wrong direction. Now, as far as the dude who want to get more hours at the job, for the motivation, his motive's gonna come back in 360 with a bigger paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna be able to have a little bit more leeway at what he's trying to do with his motivation. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a little quick analysis on you wanna make sure, because even throughout situations, there's entities that control situations. Now, the person who's going to rob, first of all, his motives is going to be in a situation where it's being opposed by certain energies, and certain energies that work through certain stuff. Like, you're going to rob, you're going to need a gun. There's a certain energy being. I can get into that, but this video is about motives. I don't want to make these videos too long. The entity could work through the gun. There's entities that could work through his anger. There's entities that could work through his and these are star systems. People from star systems. All this is relative. You know what I'm saying? And certain entities could take over, especially if you're not aware. If you're not consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously aware of anything, then basically you're going to be, you're liable to be taken over by some of these beings that's not in physical forms yet, and they want to be physical. And a lot of these people has come here, they develop, and just like how I was talking about Palladians with the last video, they like to engage and create influences on Earth through beings, to the point that they built up so much karma, they end up coming here as a being, as through a person, as through a womb of a woman, and being here in the snake pit world is Earth, and they end up being here and having to play that karma back out. But a lot of Palladians love this shit. This is why Palladians are like people who are in politics and shit like that. These are people who love having authority down here. I don't want to come back. I'm not coming back. I'm about to do my duty here as I'm supposed to do, and go on to my next journey. My next journey ain't to be back here. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is a basic analysis on motivation. You know, I just felt like getting it out. This is really freestyle. I do freestyle videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a script on what I'm finna talk about and then talk about it. I just basically push record and start receiving informations, and I become an input and an output. And I don't have to channel, because I am the channel. It's like you got a lot of channelers out here, but when they're channeling information, they're getting it from my channel. Like, I am the channel, so I don't have to channel because I am the channel. Flight boss, bitch.